Welcome to the Commissioner's Concern. Guys and gals, we can do better. This week we had 4 games with an over 40-point margin of victory. And in the 2 close games, the winner had less than 80 points. We can do better. And the shame starts right here with me in the first game, where Brian gives me a whooping that older brothers around the world would be proud of. Now you're looking at this score and you're thinking we're starting off with a stomp of the week right off the bat. But no, this week was so sad that this 62-point loss was not even the biggest stomp. It was, however, the high score of the week for Brian, as Austin Ekeler continues his tear as RB1 with his third 30-point game of the season. And Joe Burrow pops off for the second week in a row with nearly 40 points. And you throw Aaron Jones 24 points in there, and these 3 players outscored my entire team. Ramondre Stevenson and Joe Mixon tried their best, but as Ryan pointed out, I got a little greedy trying to get an extra week out of Jeff Wilson. Not that it ended up mattering. I do, however, have some good replacements here on the bench, and I just want to let everyone know all of these players are on the trading block. I am fielding all offers. Next up, with our first sub 80-point victory, as Big Lou takes down Tim to go to 5-2. Bye week issues could be excuses for both of these teams, but starting the defense that's playing against the Chiefs and starting a Packers receiver in general are questionable decisions regardless. I guess it worked out for him, as Tim also started a receiver who had 0 points. Now, outside of a potential Monday night rundown by the Bears D, coming up just a few points short, there was really not much to look at here. Back to the stomps, as Zach falls to 1-6 with this nearly 50-point loss to Crikey. Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry picked up right where they left off before their bye weeks, and Raheem Mostert showed up this week with nearly 20 points himself. As for Zach, his lone bright spot was Juju with 22 points, but when you have 2 position players score under a point, it's going to be pretty difficult to get a win. Things are looking bleak over here for old Shooter McPherson. Now for the anticipated matchup of the week to see if Paul would remain unbeaten, resulted in the 1-5 team beating the 6-0 team by over 80 points in the stomp of the week. Paul's team fell completely flat this week as he gets the low scorer. This man started Alec Pierce and Devin Duvernay in the same week. Huh? This is our current first place and previously 6-0 team, ladies and gentlemen. As for Skip, he has successfully sandbagged the first 5 weeks into potentially the biggest waiver pickup of the entire season in Kenneth Walker. That, in addition with D-Hop coming back from suspension and immediately receiving 14 targets in his first game. Are we looking at a potential run back from the 0-5 start? It's getting pretty close to Halloween, and this team is looking pretty spooky as he scores almost 150 points with his number 1 overall pick on a bye week. The last of our 40-point plus stomps as Jeff loses to Ryan here. Ryan once again led by Mahomes and Jamar Chase. He did have some good pickups in Nyheim Hines and Chuba Hubbard for his running backs on bye weeks, but I'm assuming these 2 will find their way out of the lineup just as quickly as they found their way in. As for Jeff, another sad loss as his team does okay. It's not a terrible week. Just not enough of a supporting cast around Nick Chubb to get a win, and that's pretty much what we've been saying each week for Jeff. Last up, we have the second of our sub 80-point victories as Brittany gets her second win of the season. This is Brian O'Shea's debut for Chase as he is now underwater, and not exactly the debut you want to have. He fired up Isaiah Pacheco in the flex spot when any of the other 3 players on his bench would have been enough to get him the victory in this situation. This means that Brittany gets the win, mostly on the back of Mike Williams, but also while her quarterback scored 1.5 points. Now, Mike Williams is out for a month or so, and she's going to need to make multiple maneuvers in this lineup if she wants to continue her winning ways. As for the standings, we have no more undefeated teams. Our five-way tie at 4-2 has now shifted to a five-way tie at 4-3. Still seems like it's mostly an 8-team race, but Skip's playoff percentages have creeped into the double digits. Watch out, everyone. That's it for this week. Make sure to tune in next week for the Commissioner's Corner.